A lounge singer witnesses a horrible crime, so she must pose as a nun in the worst neighborhood in San Francisco in order to save her skin.
Welcome to the Walt Vault with Andre,
Michelle,
Emily,
And Luis.
We are a family-friendly podcast where each and every week we watch and review a different Disney movie. Be sure to subscribe on all podcast platforms and YouTube. Enjoy the show.
Hello and welcome to the Walt Vault, episode 169.
that was great.
169. Dang, yo, fine.
Saga, tell me one more time.
Get low.
Get
Get
low.
low, get low, get low, get low, get low. To the window.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
To the walls.
To the wow.
Oh my God. This week, we are talking about the Catholic.
Catholic.
We are talking about the live-action 1992 film starring Whoopi Goldberg, Sister Act. Let's see here. This movie was directed by... Oh, wait, where did it go? Emile Ardolino, written by Paul Rudnick, stars Whoopi Goldberg and Professor McGonagall and Kathy Najimy from Hocus Pocus, who I kept writing in my notes as Sister Mary Hocus Pocus.
You were writing Sister Mary Hocus Pocus?
I never heard her name the entire movie, and so I would just write.
I'm sure they said it. But
Her name.
She was the cute little smiler.
Yes, her name was Sister Mary Patrick in the movie, which I'm just finding out right now by looking at IMDb. I did not know from watching the movie.
Mary Pratchett. Mary Pratchett.
Mary Pocus.
Carol Bam.
We've been watching way too much Modern Family, so she's a Pritchett now.
Oh, I
and
see.
Oh, there you go.
I see.
nah, she smiles too much for a Pritchett.
Who's a
she was
Pritchett?
so smiley.
Kathy Najimy.
Mary Pritchett. Mary Pratchett. Maybe she's a Cratchit.
I'm so confused.
Where's Scratches from?
The ghost
from,
guy, Charles Dickens.
Oh,
Little
yeah. From him.
Okay.
You know that movie?
Hey, what are we talking about? I
That
forgot.
little frog?
It's way too late.
Oh my goodness.
It's like 8
before
o'clock
we
at night.
Get into our first impressions, Luis doesn't have anything for us this week, so
Why do
let's
you
go
do that?
into
Why-
our first impression.
You asked me before.
Yeah,
homie.
you could
You're
have.
supposed to have it ready on every
Don't assume
episode.
that
Yeah.
I'm 100% vested in this Walt Vault.
You know what happens when you assume? You make a bleep out of you and me.
Well,
How
fine,
does it
I'll
go?
look up the impression right now, just because y'all said that. Okay.
Did you say something about not being invested in the podcast?
Yeah.
Ooh, did y'all hear that, listeners? Betrayal from Old Man Negative.
Being old, being a man, being negative.
The quizzes.com.
Oh, no, we
Why is
don't-
there so many Z's on here? Quizzes.
What is happening to you right
I
now?
was-
What are you doing?
I was Googling a warm-up question.
Okay.
She definitely went into it.
I hate that it's called a warm-up question.
software program that we all use.
Quizzes.
It's gonna be Jeopardy. We're gonna get 100 points. Did you find a quizzes?
Well, I didn't, but I found. Yeah,
Jesus
I found a
criminy.
quiz. Fine, it's a 10-question quiz. Is you ready?
Are we
Quizzes.
doing 10 questions?
They're quick. You have to answer in 2 seconds.
Stuff.
Okay, the first question is for Andre. What year did Disneyland open?
1955.
That's correct.
Oh my! I was gonna say 65. So
That right out of my assume. You know what I mean?
This one's really hard, but Luis, how many brothers does Prince Hans of the Southern Isles have in Frozen?
7.
That's incorrect.
Oh, I thought you nailed it, Lou.
It is 12.
yeah.
Oh, he's got a lot of brothers.
Emily. Well, this is a good one for Andre, but okay, Emily, you might know it. Which Full House character voices Aladdin?
Ooh, Steve.
Oh, you knew it. I don't even know who Steve is.
The hell?
The one
I
that used to
haven't
lie.
The one that ends up a podiatrist.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right.
I would not
And
have
it's
gotten
funny
that.
because they go in one of the episodes to Disneyland. Like all of
I thought you
them
were gonna
go.
say they go to the foot doctor.
Oh, no! They go to Disneyland in one of the episodes, and he sees Aladdin, and they do a little like
A little tete a
a little,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
a tete-a-tete.
That's so funny.
Riff raff.
Luis,
Street rat.
where does Mike
I
Wazowski
don't
take
buy
his
you.
girlfriend Celia for her birthday in Monsters, Inc.?
Benihana's.
It's Harry
Harryhausen's. I mean, that was pretty good though.
Benny
that was
Hanna's.
good.
Oh, Andre, you get stuck
Harryhausen's.
with this one. What are the names of the 7 doors?
Happy. Grumpy. Dopey. Sleepy.
Yeah.
Sneezy. Doc.
And it's always the seventh one everyone forgets.
Bashful.
Oh, that was good.
That was
Luis,
good.
how many fingers does Mickey Mouse have?
2.
Shut the F up.
Two fingers.
I cannot. Is it 4?
It's 4. He has 3 fingers and a thumb.
2.
Lou, can you imagine the monstrosity that would be Mickey Mouse if he only had 2 freaking fingers?
Wait, how many questions did I ask Luis? 3? How many?
You look like Kingo.
I can't pick anything up.
Okay. Okay, Emily will know. You can't cuss.
Sorry. That was just unadulterated exactly what I was thinking. Go ahead.
What is the name of Walt Disney's first cartoon character?
Oswald.
Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. Yes. That is incorrect. That is correct.
Incorrect.
That is
incorrect.
That is correct. Andre, how old is Crush from Finding Nemo?
He's... I can't remember if he's 87, 107, or 187.
Those are all wrong. He is
it 250?
150.
Yeah.
And still young.
He's 187.
187 on... Oh, go ahead.
Well then. Well, I said I was only going to ask 10 questions. So.
Well, why'd Andre get an extra one?
He did? Okay, fine. I'll do this. Emily, what is Princess Mia's full name from the Princess Diaries?
Mia Thermopolis.
It was close. It's Amelia Migonette Thermopolis Bernaldi.
Mignonette.
Hey, you got the
I knew there was a couple
Thermopolis.
other names in
Mignonette?
there.
Mignonette.
No, it says
Minestrone?
Migonette.
Minestrone.
Migonette.
Mignonette?
Is that how you say it?
I'm
not.
really proud of myself for remembering Thermopolis.
Yeah, that was good.
I don't know, man. Luis, what are the 3 mountains in Disneyland?
You got this.
Yeah.
The Iron Hills, the Lonely Mountains, Mount Mordor.
Okay.
That's pretty close.
Okay, I'm going to say it again. I'm going to be... Can you please? I know you can do it.
Matterhorn, Big Thunder,
Mountains. Name with mountain.
Big Thunder Mountain.
Okay.
Yeah, you got those two.
Matterhorn.
That's
Yep.
Matterhorn isn't called
a mountain.
mountain. It is a mountain.
No mountains in space. So I'm not gonna say that.
There's no mountains in space. That was very funny.
You're either a planet-bound mountain.
Luis
or
isn't
you're not
wrong,
a
okay?
mountain.
Why is it Space Mountain and why is it like, oh, we're gonna conquer the mountains today, and it's like Big Thunder, Splash, and space? Yeah, that does make sense, Luis.
So I guess that would be the 3.
Yeah.
that is
Splash.
great. You did it. All right.
Oh yeah, Splash
Oh,
Mountain,
Splash
Big
Mountain.
Thunder Mountain, and the Matterhorn.
No.
Matterhorn.
Technically, the 3 mountains are Splash Mountain, Space Mountain, and Big Thunder Mountain.
Yes, but I really appreciate
crazy.
your
That's
thoughts.
crazy.
Even
There's
though
mountains
the
in space.
Matterhorn's actually a mountain.
Yeah.
Some mountains in space. Matterhorn is definitely the biggest mountain in the park. It's not how we...
How is that not a mountain?
How is that not a mountain?
You can see it from the freeway.
This is the definition of a mountain.
Well, it's not a mountain.
That was Luis. That was the first time that your description makes sense to make job process.
This is a really.
Look at his face. He's so mad.
Well, I'm confused.
Never mind.
I just have to say this question to everybody because I didn't know the answer to this, but it says, "What were Mickey Mouse's first spoken words ever?"
Something about steam.
It's not "Oh boy." That's what I
Steamboat
thought
Willie?
it would be.
Something.
He doesn't talk in Steamboat Willie.
Okay. Well.
I'm gonna say...
I am Groot.
Suck it, Bugs.
Suck it, bug.
There's a new cartoon king. Ha-ha.
It's hot dog.
Hot dog, Bugs.
Why bugs?
He's taking
Why-
shots at Bugs
that's
Bunny.
two
I don't know why.
Oh, I thought you meant actual
words.
bugs.
Oh.
I'm thinking.
I said first 3 words ever spoken.
No, just first words. But "oh boy" is what I thought it would have been. Oh boy. Not hot dog.
Hot dog.
Hot dog.
All right, we're done.
Hot dog, I'm a mouse.
I thought it
Some
was
of
going
those
to be
were hard.
something to like Minnie Mouse or Pete
Yeah.
or Oswald.
Or just like, "Hiya, pals." Like, something.
Hi, everybody.
Something. Hot dog.
Hot dog.
Talking about Goofy? What are you talking about?
He's a hot dog.
Hot dog right there. I'm making my best friend.
I had a really hard time today because somebody told me I have such a hard time remembering which one's Pluto and which one's Goofy, and I was
What?
like I really had words to
completely
say,
different.
and I didn't want to be that person. I hate it when people are that person, like with Harry Potter or whatever. So I can't be
Yeah.
that person with Disney. I was like,
I
oh,
would have been like, you're an idiot. Pluto's yellow. One's a dog and one's kind of
I'm
a
trying
dog.
to
one's a goof.
I'm trying to
Like
think of
Yeah.
what I have that with. Like, with anything that exists in the world where there's...
Like I have
Matthew McConaughey and Owen Wilson.
Now I can tell them apart.
In my head, they're the same person.
It's Wong and the other dude.
Gilgamesh and
Gilgamesh.
Bennett and Wong.
Dude, you are.
That's pretty.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, it's very pointed. You got to stop
not what
comparing
I
the two
meant.
Asian dudes.
They just look alike.
They all look
nothing
alike.
about race.
Oh my God.
Nothing about
We
race.
need to back
My
this
goodness.
train up. This bus has gone off the rails.
I
guess the train went off the rails.
But that's the implication when you compare two
Well,
Asian dudes
then
to
you
each
shouldn't
other.
assume things.
We're going off the rails.
What did you say about assumptions?
Oh, who was the other one I said last night? Natalie Portman and Keira Knightley.
Knightley.
I don't have a hard time when I'm
I
looking
don't
at
have
them, but in my head, I think of them very
Your
similarly.
defense, they were in Star Wars.
Right. They
Yeah,
were
so-
playing basically the same
like a
character.
stunt
Oh,
in,
yeah.
in Phantom Menace.
Yeah, so that. I
Keira
can't-
Knightley?
Yeah, Keira
Yeah,
Knightley
she
was her
she was the
her decoy.
understudy.
Yeah.
A decoy. That's the word. I said.
Understudy.
Oh, snap.
was her
Uh-huh.
understudy. I like
did
that.
not realize
You know?
that.
Yeah.
No.
The Amidala and then the fakey dollar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Amidala
Prince
Padme.
Amidala Padme. Princess. Queen.
All right. So
Yeah,
what's
whatever.
we talking about today?
Pregnancy brain is hard.
Sister Act.
You're
It's
talking about
hard.
Sister Act. So.
Dude, that movie was heck of funny.
All right, you go first, Luis. What's your first impression?
Hold on. Stop. Has anyone seen this before?
No.
I have not.
Okay, I've
First
not
time
either.
seeing it too.
Okay.
First movie we've ever seen for the first time.
Yeah, I guess so.
No.
Well-
we've
No,
done
probably
a
like the new
lot.
releases.
Yeah, we've done
Yeah.
new releases, but this is the first.
It's usually
old
less
movie.
common with like older movies that we do.
Yes.
No, this movie was legit. It was heck of funny. Whoopi Goldberg. I mean, I don't mean to be mean, but she's like Morgan Freeman to me. She always looks old when I see her. I've never seen her in a
That's how
young
she
role.
looks.
She doesn't look young in this one.
wonder
And
what's-
I'm not saying that. That's just an observation.
Yeah, I mean,
I thought she looked young in this
thought
one,
she
like
did, too.
younger than. Because I think my favorite role is Ghost, and she's older than she is here in that one. I think.
is that true?
Actually, that might not be true. I don't know when Patrick Swayze
Honestly,
died,
I don't
but
think I've seen a ton of things.
Ghost
movies
might be
with
older.
Whoopi Goldberg.
yeah, now that I'm thinking
Like
about that.
I know who she is and I see her in things, but I don't know if I've watched a ton of her movies.
I mean, she was in The Color Purple. She was in Ghost,
I've
which came
never
out
seen
in
either of those.
Which came out in 1990, and this Sister Act came out in 92. So Ghost was before.
I
So
saw
she's younger in Ghost.
Yeah, she's younger in Ghost.
I saw her in Disney stuff.
She's in The Little Rascals as a cameo.
Yeah.
What was that? I remember Buckwheat. Buckwheat's like aunt or grandma or something like that. That was funny.
She got an EGOT.
Dude, The Little Rascals is awesome.
Little Rascals is a good movie. But I was just gonna say, like, another person who's in this movie, Dame Maggie Smith, who plays the Mother Reverend, Reverend Mother.
McGonagall?
She has also always looked old.
Yeah.
Yup.
But in this one, it was like, oh,
Right.
she's so young.
There's like 20% less lines on her
But
face.
then
This
I
is
was
crazy.
thinking, what year did this come out? 92?
92.
And Harry Potter was 2000. So,
2001.
I mean, at this point, it's 30 years ago.
Right.
yeah, I know. I love her so much. I love that.
It was
actress.
cool.
I don't even know her name. I just call her McGonagall.
Okay, so Louis, do you have anything else with your first impression? It was funny. That's what you said.
She was funny. I legit thought like she was gonna be a little bit more nunny.
Oh, okay.
You know,
Yeah.
she really wasn't too nunny, which it's not a bad thing because she wasn't supposed to be a nun, right?
Right.
Exactly.
But like,
But you were expecting more nun.
yeah, like I legit thought she was gonna be like a, devoting her time and doing all this stuff for a longer time than she actually did, because she
Right.
started to do that a little too close to the end, if you ask me, and then it sped up. So that's my first.
Okay.
She was having a hard time. She couldn't go to the
All right.
bar.
I get it.
They wouldn't let
Get
her
it.
smoke in the convent.
All right, my first impression of this movie is I didn't know what it was about. But I kind of agree with Luis. I mean, there's a nun on the cover, and she's dressed like a nun. So I thought it was going to be like a funny interpretation of her journey through a convent or something. I didn't realize she was going to be like undercover and like all this stuff, which I should have known.
Witness protection.
It's a 90s movie.
Right.
I should have known something crazy was going to happen, you know? So I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was just the right length. It was good. And I'd probably watch it again. I really liked it. Honestly, it was really fun. Andre.
Can I add a little bit more to that?
Yeah.
I thought she was going to be an undercover nun. Like she was a cop.
Oh, like a nun who became a cop.
Yeah.
Or
no,
a cop.
No.
A
a cop who became a nun.
cop who became a nun.
Yeah.
So
she
what's
arresting?
going on in here?
Who's she arresting in the convent? My goodness.
Reverend Mother.
Yeah, some
Monsignor,
bad actors
can you
up in
imagine?
there, yeah.
All right, Andre.
Similar to y'all, I thought this movie was really, really good. I enjoyed it a lot. I like Whoopi Goldberg quite a bit. And I also didn't know exactly what this was about. I was under the impression that it was definitely going to be some undercover nun stuff, right? Like she wasn't a real nun, and then she was going to have to pretend to be a nun. But I didn't know that there was going to be a grisly murder at the beginning of this movie. I had no clue at all. Like that really surprised me. And also,
It was actually kind of scary. Like the stakes were high.
the thing about this movie is that it's really good all the way through. And I'm only gonna say my qualm right now just because it kind of pertains. But like the action scenes have really silly, whimsical music happening. So
It's a
like
90s
we see this
movie.
dude get shot in the head, and then it's like
That's just totally 90s to me.
it was just very
like-
noticeable to me. I think that's the only thing that aged this movie, but everything else held up pretty well.
But it
and
felt
it was really funny.
nostalgic. Like you're saying it aged it. It just felt nostalgic to me. Like I was like, oh, we watching a 90s movie right now. Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean,
for
we
sure.
all grew up in the 90s. So.
She is in imminent danger, and
We're all millennials, right?
yes.
Yeah, we all are within 3 years of each other.
This is millennials. Emily, first impression.
I again had no idea what this was going to be about and totally enjoyed it. I was laughing all the way through. I mean, it was funny before she got to the convent, but
Right.
like the like the actual like Catholic jokes were very funny.
She starts giving her prayer.
Dude, the one at the table, the first one. Oh my god! Like talk about
She said, as I walk through the valley of the shadow of
no
on-
food or
on
Yeah,
your
no
song.
food, I
As
fear
I
no
walk
hunger.
Well, and she was going between like 6 different prayers and the songs, and
The Pledge of Allegiance. It was great.
I was dying.
I honestly, I was like, wow, I thoroughly enjoyed that prayer. It was great. We should do that.
Oh, it was good. I enjoyed watching McGonagall be McGonagall. It was, but a Catholic McGonagall. It was very funny.
You know how many times I've said 5 points from Gryffindor during watching this movie? A bunch of times.
Oh yeah, and it, like when they left and came, or at the end when she said something about you're lucky that you. I don't remember what she said. Basically, like you escaped death or whatever.
Right.
I was like, oh, there she goes. She's gonna give him 50 points.
dumb
50
luck.
points. Sheer dumb luck. Yeah.
She had dumb luck. I thought I was gonna die when they went to the bar. I was like, no, because the one comes and then the second
Oh
Jimmy
my
comes.
God.
I'm like, oh my god, stop! But it was good. It was funny. It was cute.
Which is
I was
really good.
interested the entire time.
Right.
And then the choir got hecka good at the end, and she was actually giving good choir advice.
Dude, she
Andre and I were like, oh, she a quiet
she was a
teacher.
great choir teacher.
like.
Because
Did
I looked
Whoopi
at-
Goldberg start off as a singer? Does she have background in music? 'Cause
I don't
all of
think
that
so.
was like. No.
and I also don't. She's not actually singing.
I
in
don't
this
think
movie,
she was singing at the
it's-
beginning.
No, I think it said that she was.
What? Hang on. Now I need to.
Whoa.
Now I need to research.
The cute little girl, the whatever her name was.
Sister Mary Robert.
Yeah,
was
she
hitting
was
the
not
solos.
singing, but I'm pretty sure Whoopi Goldberg was because I looked it up.
Has to have been.
But
I think she's got some like more than above average training for an actress. and singer.
Gotcha.
well,
She has-
neither here nor there. The choir parts, being choir people, I was like, she giving some real advice up in here. Like that was awesome. She's like, sopranos over here, altos over there,
She plays
baritones-
them.
Yeah, and she was doing some good like breath support and stuff. It was just
Good
really cool to
encouragement.
listen because the other lady, I was dying about the other like
Sister Mary Lazarus. which is such a funny, so hilarious.
She coming out of that.
names. The
So,
convent.
the Reverend Mother, I guess.
Oh,
Sister Mary
name me
Lazarus.
Mary Lazarus. Great.
I mean, he coming back.
Uh-huh.
She coming back.
She never died, you know. She's been alive forever.
Anywho, first impression wise, lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised. I'm really happy we did this because we were kind of trying to figure out a movie. What were we going between this one and what was the other one? Dreamgirls.
No.
No, I don't think so.
The one where they take over the three ladies, or isn't it something in politics?
Oh, Hidden Figures.
Hidden Figures.
With the three ladies who help launch a rocket to the moon. for the
Okay,
first
so it's
time.
not politics.
Not politics, but you know.
Well, I was very into this movie, and it was very 90s. And I love me in 90s movies.
She's only said it like
I
25 times.
love me some 90s movies.
The reason I keep saying it is because I keep telling Andre, like even
Is it
Harry.
because you like 90s movies?
I do, but even Harry Potter is a movie from 2000, and we watched,
She's like, "That's 90s."
watched it the other day on HBO or whatever. And then I was not that I was getting emotional, but I was like, is my son gonna want to watch this? Because by the time he wants to watch it, that movie's 30 years old.
Yeah, well, think
And I
of
was like,
every old movie you've ever seen.
But I didn't watch. I was born in the 90s. I was not watching movies from like the 60s.
Well, it's probably because
That's
your
30
parents
years ago.
weren't.
Right.
It comes down to like what you're exposed
Did you
to.
watch Sleeping Beauty? Did you watch Snow White? Did you watch Cinderella?
I mean,
Technically,
yeah.
those are, but like you almost
those are
kind of
just, like,
don't
ones
count
everyone-
them,
Right.
Because they're
like that classic
Watches.
animation style.
I mean, I watched 80s
they're
movies as a
timeless.
teenager,
But
which
they're
are what
timeless.
my parents grew up watching more. But I'm like, oh my god, 30 years ago?
Yeah.
Crazy.
I don't know. I just think about it like in my mind, I think about like music because my dad always listened to classic rock. So in my mind, like there's no way that I would have ever just like chosen to listen to that.
Right.
But because it was always around
Yes.
the 60s, 70s, and 80s, I dig. And I was definitely not alive in that time period.
Exactly. I begin down to disco and 80s and 90s R&B
Motown for me.
all day, all night. Yeah, Motown too. Yeah. And now, once again, not exactly of my own choosing.
It's just in the background.
Exactly.
The disco. Good stuff. So yes, your kids will if you.
Yeah, if we show it to them, you know, if we can get them to sit down for an hour and 40 minutes, is that how long this was? This was a really nicely lengthed movie.
Yeah, I didn't think it was long.
Yeah,
It was like perfect.
It wasn't the Eternals, okay?
Oh my God, yeah. We got to the point where Whoopi is like, you know, about to be found out or whatever, and I'm like, oh no, what's gonna happen? And the movie's over like 20 minutes later. Oh, snap, they wrapped that up pretty quick. Pretty quick.
So plot wise, you see her. That was pretty funny too. You see her singing with her two other gals up
yeah.
on the stage in Reno.
Her faux Supremes in Reno.
It was cute.
Reno.
So they're singing, and it's very, very apparent that, which it's funny because I'm sure that's how it is. Like nobody in the casino gives a.
They're all just gambling and ordering food, and they're not paying attention to the singers who are belting. They are going for it, and they're doing a good job.
Yeah, I
Like,
thought it
sounds
was
good.
quite hilarious.
And
I hate Reno. So the fact that it was in Reno was perfect.
Can I
I
add,
literally hate Reno.
can I add something to that?
Yeah.
I swear that scene freaking reminds me of that one Muppet movie we saw where they have that makeshift piggy in Reno. That's what I make a picture. It's
a dude.
The whole time I'm over here like,
with the fake pig. Which Muppets movie
what movie was that? Most Wanted?
It might have been
Or
Muppet.
Is the one with like, I'm
Well-
a Muppet or am I a man? That one.
It could have been that
Yeah,
one.
I think it is the Muppets, the newest Muppets sequel. I think because we have to like find the Muppets and collect them back together or whatever. And I think.
I don't think we did that for the podcast though.
Oh yeah, you're right. Then I don't remember. Listeners, write in at the Volvo Pod. what Muppets movie are we
Which
talking about?
Muppet is the Muppet?
But
I don't
yes.
know. So to me, that was perfect. I was like, oh, yep, we in Reno. Okay, here we go.
So yeah, the movie starts and she's belting her heart out for these people who aren't paying attention. The show ends and she goes and talks to her ladies in the dressing room, and she's like, "Nobody appreciates me. I'm getting out of here. I'm leaving. Goodbye." And
She goes to her apartment, and it's
First, they were at the apartment.
oh, that's right. That's
and
right.
that's where like
We
I guess
find
the
out
owner of the casino and her are like,
Yeah, they're shacking up, you know.
He got a side bae.
Well, yeah, he has a wife, and it's not Whoopi Goldberg, right? And
she's over here like, you tell her, and he like what is it? It said something about being a Catholic, didn't he?
Yeah, he was like, I'm a Catholic, and I went to church, and
I went to confession, and I
They
was
tell me I'll burn in hell if I divorce my wife.
so I can't do it today,
Yeah,
because
so-
tomorrow
I
he's
told
not.
Audrey, I said he's gonna burn in hell for cheating on his wife
like,
too. So,
But I just want to be with you, so just hang around for a little bit longer. It's okay. And if you're
And she was like, get out.
yeah, you can. I mean, as an adult, you can see all the way through all of his lies, right? Like he's definitely, it's just cheat. So she's kind of fed up with him, right? So she goes back to her girls in the dressing room, and she's like, he's not gonna leave his wife. It's not gonna happen. I'm getting out of here. And then a package gets delivered to her. Well, she doesn't want to open it first because she's so mad, but the girls make her open it, and it's this gigantic, beautiful purple mink coat, right? And she's like, "Oh my God, it's a mink! It got me a mink!"
Yeah, and the other girl is like, it's me.
"It's mink," and she looks through it and realizes that it's got his wife's name monogrammed
Yeah,
into the
that's
back of
bad.
the coat, and it's like, bro, what are we doing over here? He doesn't care about her at all. So
He doesn't care about his wife getting her mink coat out of there.
It's almost like he doesn't care about women. This dude.
For
Oh no,
real,
he'd be
doesn't.
caring about the women.
Vince LaRocca. So
What an Italian.
so she takes the mink and goes to give him a piece of her mind in his office or whatever, right? But in his office, he's interrogating one of his drivers. He's like, "Oh, we heard you at the police station talking to the cop for over 3 hours. What'd you
Say
tell him?
hello
What'd you
to
tell
my
him?"
little friend.
And so this dude is sweating, and they're like, "You know what? Ice him or whatever." And
Dude, that's what Luis and I said. Ice them.
ice him. So they do. The
I love
goons.
that.
The goons pull out their silenced pistols and they ice this dude. Not fully on camera, but like close enough that it's dramatic. And
I was like, dang, like we
know.
do
It's a
like
PG
first
movie.
off, she's obviously shacking up with this dude,
Right.
and then they just killed somebody
That
practically on
touchstone,
streets.
baby.
Ay, ay, ay.
Seriously.
Touchstone don't care.
I got so excited when I saw the touchstone
Me
thing at the
too.
beginning. Like, ooh, touchstone.
Touchstone Pictures. So
It's the rowdy Disney.
Buena Vista. So as this dude gets shot is when Dolores, that's her name, she walks in and sees everything. And then Vince is like, "Hey, baby, what you doing here? Oh, you got my code. Do you like it? You came to thank me?" And she's like, "Oh, yeah, totally." And he's like, "Oh, well, you just forget anything you saw here or whatever," and sends her on her way. And the goons are like, "Hey, boss, she looked pretty nervous. Should we like go after her?" And he's like, "Nah."
He was
she's
less worried
fine."
than the
He was not worried
not at all.
which is crazy. Because she was about to dump him, but he's like, "Actually, you know what? Just go after her, bring her back, and if she doesn't want to come back, take care of it." This dude. So they go out, and this is where we begin the silly music chase scene. Through
the kitchen, of course.
Yes, through the kitchens. Got to have a chase
It
scene through the
always
kitchen.
is so sad because the poor people working,
There's always something crazy going on in the background.
straight up ratatouille with rats up in here.
Yeah. always in the kitchen. So she,
I guess she was gonna be a rat.
That's the thing. So she is able to escape from these two goons who aren't super bright. She slips through a secret passageway and gets out of the sewer grate or something like that. And then she immediately goes to the police. I was like, "Oh snap! Look at you go!" She goes to the cops and tells them what she saw. And they're like, "Hey, we've been trying to nail this guy for months. So if you could just testify for us as an open witness in court, that would be great." And she's like, "Testify? That's gonna put a huge target on my back. This dude is gonna kill me if we testify." And they're like, "No, don't worry about it. We'll hide you out. We'll put you in a hideout, and just for a little while. And then once we get a court date, we'll be bada bing, bada boom. We'll lock him up." And she is very untrusting of this whole situation. But eventually, she's dragged to San Francisco. Where she is going to be staying at a convent. She meets Dame Maggie Smith, who's playing the Reverend
And
Mother.
she's super mad about it. Like, she is
Yeah.
not excited.
She's like, she sees her, but by the way, Whoopi Goldberg has been dressed in these crazy 90s outfits this whole time, right? She's got huge
Even
earrings.
the detective with his haircut and his mustache, I was like, yes.
Oh, that dude was...
That dude's the MVP, man.
Yeah, he was in... original Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies. He was like Robbie Robertson. I think that's the only thing I've seen him in. So I was really excited when I saw him in this. But he takes her there. She meets the Reverend Mother, who was like, oh no. Who is this riffraff that's getting brought into my
And I'm like,
into my
wouldn't
church?
they just put her in a safe house? Like, what are they doing?
I mean, yeah, I guess the whole conceit of the movie is thrown out the window if we can't just throw her in this convent. But yeah, I guess it would be easier to just toss her in a safe house in like L.A. or something like that. I don't know.
I mean, you could have just put her in. Oh no, I was gonna say just throw her in the cell.
Yeah, they could have just
go get
locked her up. Good luck getting in here, buddy. But that's basically what happens anyway.
Come on in. You can get her yourself.
Because in this convent, she is going to be posing as a nun, right? She kind of makes a deal with Maggie Smith. She's like, hey, how about I just do my own thing and you do your own thing and we'll stay out of each other's way. And she's like, well, there's rules to follow here. You got to follow the rules. We're not going to be having no blasphemy, no behemothry, no nothing in here.
But you know what gets me? It's like, girl, you would much rather go out there and face potential whacking than chill in there.
Yeah.
If it were me,
It's
I'd
not
be
that
over
bad.
there freaking stuffing my bustier, freaking covering everything up to my nose.
Boosty-loo.
I am not gonna put myself in harm's way when I can be protected by none other than the
anything,
good Lord.
yeah.
Even more than normal.
A disguise, she could have drawn on some eyebrows and been, completely
I don't know what
oblivious.
she was tripping on, man.
Well, and we missed the beginning of the movie
Oh, yes.
where she was in like a Catholic school, and
As a kid.
that was a really sad scene.
It was kind of traumatic.
It was
guys.
really
I
funny.
thought it was funny. Andre and I were heck laughing.
So she's probably like 10 maybe,
yeah.
and she's in Catholic school, and she's being excuse me, sorry.
They go, hey, you, Dolores, name the apostles. She just goes, John, George, Paul, and Ringo. And the whole class laughs. And the teacher's like, yeah, it's very disrespectful. You're the worst child that's ever been at the school or whatever. Go write the names of the apostles on the board in alphabetical order. She's like, all right. And she writes Elvis and the Rolling Stones up there or whatever. She does not care at all.
It was pretty funny though.
So yeah, but yeah, the thing is that she has had some trauma with these nuns before. She's not
Which
a huge
I think
fan.
is part of why she's so like against it.
Mm-hmm.
I
But
think that nun told her she was gonna burn in hell too.
Yeah, I think
Props.
She's like, jeez.
I
probs.
think you're right. So now that she's at this convent, right? She gets put in a nun outfit. She complains about that. She's like, I can't wear
The
this.
nunnery.
I look like a penguin.
The nunnery. It's a word, y'all. Remember?
The nunnery. Mm-hmm. Was I the one that said that?
I don't
It was
know.
me.
One of us said
It was
it.
me.
That was during
I
Sound of
didn't know the
Music.
word
Yeah.
convent. I said I thought it was a nunnery.
Oh, she was in the nunnery.
Nunnery nursery. So she complains about the clothes. They take her to her room, which is basically a cell. Like it is not much bigger than a cell at all. It's got that prison style mattress.
Well, at
And,
least she got a bed.
Yeah, that's nice. So she's in
So
there,
the cells.
and then she starts meeting the other nuns. Right, she's introduced to everybody as Sister Mary Clarence or something like that. That's her fake name. And
then she goes to the freaking food scene, which is one of the best scenes I think in the movie.
It's hilarious. So yeah, they sit down to have, what is it, lunchtime? Is it dinner? I don't know what this meal is. Maybe it's breakfast because they had to get up at 5 a.m. or something like that. They offer her the chance to
waking up at 5 in the morning.
do
is
the
not that
prayer.
bad.
It's not, but she's a lounge singer. She stays up till 3 in the
that's
morning.
right,
She
that's
gets up
right.
at noon or whatever.
She do her.
Yeah, she's not used to this 5 a.m. nonsense. So she does the prayer, and as we said before, she starts going into the Pledge of Allegiance and talking about all
Dude,
kinds
she
of
was
other
on
stuff.
one.
But she was nailing it in terms of coming up with random stuff on the spot, but not necessarily nailing it as being a nun. So the other sisters are kind of wary of her. Also, she's the only black nun in the church, which is a whole other layer on top of it.
And they're like asking her where she's from. She's like, I'm from a progressive church. And they were like, Oh.
in Reno.
Fan of the Moonlight.
Yes, yes.
It sounds
Like
like
the Moonlight
witchcraft.
Cafe or whatever.
Dude, I don't want none of that comment.
But she's like, yeah, we had some real rough characters up there, so we had to, take people out and help these poor people. We had a hooker next door named Bucktooth Bertha or whatever.
Bucktooth Bertha. That's what I texted you guys.
Buckwheat Bertha.
Oh yeah,
Buckwheat.
Buckwheat Bertha. I was like, oh my god. So she's
And she has no
making comments
problem
like
just
that.
being like, there was a hooker.
Yeah. there's a whole
They were
bunch,
on drugs.
she makes a whole bunch of comments like that, and the Reverend Mother keeps like snapping at her, trying to get her to shut up and whatnot. Eventually, we see her watch an actual service, a Sunday service at this church. There's like nobody
I would
there.
not go to that church either with that choir.
There's nobody there.
Well, and even like the Monsignor's, what do you call it? His service was boring.
It was not exciting at all. So he's droning on, and then he's like, all right, well, now we're gonna have the choir go up, and they go up, and it is impressive how bad they
I
were.
was laughing. I was like, dang, no one goes to this church.
It was so bad.
It was
It was a
terrible.
choir.
Was it?
To quote.
There was a song.
There was singing. Singing happened.
I don't know if that was a
So
choir.
all of these ladies are incredibly off. Like none of them are on the same beat or the same time signature even at all.
Or the same,
Or the
freaking
same
zip
key.
code.
The one girl, the freaking Mary Hocus Pocus, is like, ooh. I was like, oh, okay. We all knew that one person in choir.
I felt like she was gonna say book at any moment. Like,
So yeah, they're doing a terrible job, and Whoopi Goldberg's like, I can't have to listen to this.
Well, so is the priest or whatever. He's like, all right.
Thank you for that.
Yeah,
so much.
thanks everybody, and they get
And
no
from
applause.
from my perspective, as someone who doesn't frequent church on a weekly basis, the best part of going to church to me is when I hear the music.
Is the
So if
entertainment.
I was like, okay, I'm going to church today, and I heard that, I'd be like, I ain't going back.
Nah.
Like, it makes a difference.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot the part that during that food scene, she messes up the prayer so bad, or she says so many terrible comments that they put her on a ritual fast. just doesn't get to eat the terrible food that she.
Well, and because she was like complaining about how it was mush.
How y'all eat this?
She's the worst.
So then they're out in the garden later, and she like steals a tomato.
I was like, she real hungry. She just gonna eat a
Just eat
tomato
just
like
a
an
raw
apple.
And they're all looking at her like,
Yeah.
don't you do it.
What is wrong with her?
It was a juicy looking
I
tomato.
know, I
Okay,
thought
it looked good.
I thought the tomato was gonna come back for a minute.
I was like, oh snap,
I
they
thought
got
like
a garden?
she was gonna somehow get in trouble through this tomato, but no, we just never hear of the
Yeah.
tomato ever again.
Yeah, we
They
didn't
were
really-
like, fine, take that tomato.
She was eating in the
it's
bathroom. It was fine.
Oh, it looks like a good tomato too. Yeah.
So let's see here. What happens after this? So she has to do her part. She has to do some chores around the convent or whatever. So she has to like wash the car. She's trying to sing out there while she does that. Maggie Smith shuts that down. And then she has to like wash the graffiti off the walls because
I
once
kept
again they're in
telling
a
Andre,
terrible
said
neighborhood.
there was a lot of graffiti in this town, but it looked like really artsy. I was like, y'all should just leave it. Like, this is the graffiti town, okay?
Right.
Yeah, this is the graffiti section of San Francisco or whatever. It is terrible out here.
Whatever neighborhood they're in.
So she's cleaning up graffiti. She meets a little dog who she's nice to. And then she goes back to McGonagall and she's like, "Hey, I gotta get out of here. This is not gonna be a good fit. I don't think we could do this." And I believe it's at this point when McGonagall's like, "You know what? You're right. You can get out of here." Oh, but then she's like, "Wait, I have something for you. I can place you somewhere. We can do something with you. We can use you." Wait, does this happen here?
No, it happens after.
Well, 'cause she got in
she's
trouble
over it.
again.
She's over it, and freaking what's the sister with the bangs that doesn't wear the full nun hat?
Sister Mary Robert.
Okay, so Sister Mary
Doesn't wear
Roberts
the full
comes to her
nun
room and
hat.
gives her a TikTok sun clock to tell her.
I thought you meant like a TikTok.
Yeah,
I'm like,
why
what?
did you say TikTok?
Why
The
is there a
sun
TikTok?
clock was
Because
really
the kids at work
cute.
called it TikTok clock.
Oh, okay.
So it's the TikTok clock, and she gives it to her so that she wakes up at 5 a.m. And they kind of bonded or whatever, and
Yeah.
then that's when she sneaks out and goes to the
That's
bar.
right. That's right. She sneaks out that night. Sister Mary Robert follows her, and then Sister Mary Patrick follows her. And so
Yeah.
they make their
I
way.
like Sister Mary Patrick.
They make their way into the bar, She goes in first, Dolores, and she's sizing people up or whatever. She's dressed like a nun, so they're all staring at her. And she sidles up to the bar. She like manhandles the dude. She's like, "Get your foot off the table," or whatever.
Is this gonna turn into a nun
my
bar?
favorite is that they're at the jukebox, and she was like, "What do you think we got on here? Sound of Music?"
Some
I was like, "Oh snap! I get that reference now."
So
At the nunnery.
yeah, once all the nuns are in there, they throw on a song on the jukebox. Give me gravy, which is I had never heard of, but it sounded like a very dirty song to me. Stop it! No, you don't have to say what I said. You don't have to say what I said. We're on a family show. So
It sounds scowy.
they're
PG
dancing.
movie.
They're dancing around. They're kind of flirting with some of these bikers or whatever. And then they like abruptly make their exit because I think Dolores is like, I gotta get these nuns out of here. They're gonna act a fool and get us all in trouble. So they walk back in and then they have their Harry Potter moment where McGonagall finds them.
Awarded no points.
No, she
What
taking
are
points.
you children doing out of bed?
Follow me.
Half expected Filch to be running.
Yeah,
down the
right.
hall.
Oh, dear.
Mrs. Norris.
You are in trouble. Or okay, so yes, it's at this point where she threatens to kick her out, but then she's like, no, actually, you know what I'm going to do is punish you by making you sing in our choir, which McGonagall knows is absolutely god-awful, pun intended. So she goes to join the choir, and this is where she really throws on her skills, because Sister Mary Lazarus, she starts trying to lead them, and it's a disaster. And she's like, well, if you think you can do better, why don't you take over?
It was pretty funny though, because Mary Lazarus is like, you could see her sizing her up like, oh, you gonna come up in here with your opinion?
You were sent here to replace me.
Well, and that was one of the funniest parts too, was that in an earlier scene, Mary Lazarus was talking about the last convent she was at, and she was like, it was hard, it was cold, we barely had food.
No running water.
And they were like, wow, that was hell. And she's like, no, it was the best. Like, she loved
She's like real nuns.
she loved how
Love that structure.
Yeah, how awful it was, basically.
that's why she loves dissonance in her music, okay?
Oh, holy moly. So Dolores gets in there and she starts whipping them into shape. She places them in the correct sections. She gets them to sing a note together, which is nice. And she bumps their rehearsal time up. Instead of, once a week or whatever, now they're going to rehearse every day for
I
several
think my
hours.
favorite is when she's telling the pianist to like play a note and she's like falling asleep.
Alma.
And she's like, get your batteries going.
I thought it was a heart monitor. It was definitely her hearing aid.
Hearing aid.
I was like, is she going to die right now? Well, and it was
She was
funny
falling asleep
too,
over there.
because she, again, the choir references, she told Mary Patrick that she needed to get out of the rafters.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember like Candy saying that on so many occasions?
I think
like,
so, yes.
bring it down. You need to come out of the rafters because those sopranos, Michelle's, were like,
It wasn't.
And then she tells
It
Sister
wasn't
Mary
me.
Robert, like, "Hey,
wasn't me."
You can't be a little church mouse or whatever. You have to sing
gotta
to
blend.
God. You're singing to the heavens. You have to sing to the back of this dingy room where everybody's trying to talk over you. And this kind of stuff really inspires them. They start singing together, and over the course of the next week, they get it down. So we cut to the next Sunday where they're having the next service. And
they sing the same song. as
Same
last time.
song. It's Hail Holy Queen, right? So they sing the traditional style. They're on key. They sound okay. It's not bad. And then they pump it into high gear and they start going or whatever.
Oh yeah, we was at Disneyland a couple weeks ago. They had that gospel choir up in there.
Yeah.
I was like,
yeah, they add in the gospel.
They really gospeled it up, and it ends up being a fantastic show. So
I
much
was like,
so
see, now I want to listen.
that people from
Yeah,
outside
people
on the
from
street
outside
are
were
coming
walking
in. Yeah,
I was like, okay, that's a little dramatic.
the
but we'll
hoodlums
go
hanging
with
out
it.
on the stoops outside.
They're like, hey, what's that party over there?
Sounds good in the church. Let's go.
Well, and actually, I think we missed it somewhere in here, but she, what is she? Mary Clarence?
Yes, Sister Mary
Like,
Clarence. Mhm.
Whoopi gets them to work outside, like in the, what do you call it? Like in the neighborhood. And
Yeah,
she,
so that's after this.
Yes.
oh, is it?
So they have the
Oh,
the
yeah, 'cause
show,
Monsignor comes in.
and she and McGonagall is pissed. So she calls her in and like starts yelling at her and is basically like, you cannot do this. This was
not
blasphemous.
what I wanted
and
you to
yada,
do.
yada, yada. And they're all
Craziness.
listening in. But the Monsieur comes in and he was like,
That was
brilliant,
awesome.
brilliant work. And you such dedication to this church or whatever. And that's when Mary Clarence throws in oh yeah, and she wants us to go see the people too.
she really flips it on her because Monsignor comes in and he's like, wow, this is really amazing. And Whoopi Goldberg's like, oh, well, it's all Reverend Mothers. This is her whole idea. She's the one who did this. And you know what? She also said that we should all go out into the neighborhood and start interacting with the people.
So funny.
And he's like, wow, that's a brilliant idea. Good job, nuns. Good job, nuns. And
and Reverend Mother's like,
Well, in my head, I was thinking the whole time, I was like, what are they even doing if they're not doing their job?
But you guys might have missed it, but like the McGonagall mother, she was like really against sending them out because she genuinely cares about these women. And she wants to keep them safe, and she believes the only thing to keep them safe is keep them here, pray to God, do everything indoors.
It's a scary neighborhood.
I get
it. That's why she doesn't do anything.
Right.
She missing the gospel though, okay?
Oh, big time.
Helping the
they're not helping the poor.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're not.
feeding
What
the
are they
needy.
doing then?
Yeah,
You know?
they're in there praying.
girl, they pray.
Yeah,
I know, but I thought you know what I mean.
they're praying for Whoopi to come down and help them out. So, so they begin their.
No, they praying that Whoopi go back.
So they begin their little excursions out into the neighborhood. They start painting over the graffiti with a mural instead of just wiping it away. They get a new car for the church. They start helping people fix their cars. That was funny. I didn't realize that was a nun job.
Inside the car, like
They're multi-talented.
Under the hood,
Like
getting
when they're
sprayed with
jump
oil.
roping with the other people or learning how to dance.
They're having fun. They're showing their faces. They're getting out into the neighborhood, and the neighborhood is pretty okay with it.
They're coming on Sundays to church.
The church is
Even
filling
the
up
hoodlums.
on Sundays and whatnot. Yeah,
even the hoodlums.
even the hoodlums getting in there.
And the place didn't really seem that bad.
Right.
It just seemed like a really beat down part of the city.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we were expecting to see, people of the night chilling in certain parts of the sidewalk, waiting, shaking hands,
Shooting up.
doing stuff. I was trying to avoid that.
That's why I'm saying they really
Liz's
played up.
Oh, shaking hands.
Yeah,
Haha, I get
They
it.
really played up the set with all the graffiti. I was like, you just throw some more graffiti in there. Why don't we?
Yeah.
So it ends up
There is zero open space.
it ends up getting much more popular. So by the next Sunday when they're doing their show, there's way more people in the church, and they go hard on a song called Salve Regina, and they're
Luis,
they're getting
Regina.
they're having solos and whatnot, and Alma's going hard on the piano, and then
And they got choreography. Okay.
yeah, they're doing dances and stuff like that.
I hate, and you know what they call it? Choreography. I hate it.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, when it's like you're still in like part of the choir setting, you're not like doing.
You know what I hate?
Full
though?
choreography.
I'm okay with the choreography, but
I
it's
hate
when
that.
one person's going way harder on the choreography. I'm like, here you go again. You're supposed to blend. We're a freaking choir.
Where you're just supposed to be clapping and somebody's up here doing a whole bunch of stuff like this.
Like, what's he doing?
You should have seen Andre's arms.
They were up there. They were praising.
Because you look like one of those wind things.
You're supposed to look uniform.
Sock?
Yeah, well, yeah,
Inflatable
but
things at the car
inflatable.
inflatable things at the car dealership. That's right.
Andre's got those arms.
So they have become so popular in this little section of the San Francisco neighborhood that they make the news, right? So the news is coming down like, look at all these nuns helping out this neighborhood. Isn't it fantastic? Look at everybody. And apparently it's all because of this one, Sister Mary Clarence.
And she's a little criminal.
She's supposed to be in like the witness protection program right now. She's not supposed to be on the news. So we cut to the detective who dropped her off there, and he's like, oh my God, I'm going to kill her. I can't believe she's on the news. And we cut to the dude who's after her, Vince LaRocca, and his wife, his actual wife, is watching the news, and she's like, honey,
look at these
you gotta
nuns.
look at these nuns.
Look at these nuns.
They're amazing. We should be doing that. We should
money to
we
the
should be
nuns.
donating. And he like barely pays attention, so he doesn't actually see her, thankfully.
And she sees the camera and is like trying to hide, but
oh.
like,
She has about like a newspaper or whatever.
but she's also like Whoopi Goldberg, so you see her doing Whoopi stuff.
so funny. She's hilarious.
Because I
Is
feel
that
like
her
some
actual
people,
name? Is Whoopi Goldberg?
No, we
No,
looked this
I can't
up.
remember. Diane something.
Her real
Diane
name,
Ross?
her birth name is Karen Elaine Johnson.
That was close.
She was born in 1955, and
No,
Changed her stage
but the
name to
thing
Whoopi
about
Goldberg.
Whoopi Goldberg though is her face is so distinct. I feel like I could throw on a nun outfit and you probably wouldn't know it was me. Like if I put on enough makeup or like did something to hide my face. But like she has like really distinct facial features.
Yeah, that's very
that
true.
like maybe this still wasn't the best disguise. You know,
yeah.
like,
Maybe we shouldn't have had this one black girl in this church full of white nuns. I don't know if she's standing out at all. But anywho, so they put on the news. Because the detective sees this, he decides to go down there and pay her a visit. He tells her he's very worried and that she's got to chill out. She's got to stop, making such a name for herself down here. It's not what he sent her there to do. And she's like, oh, actually, I'm having a lot of fun. This is pretty nice. I like this now. He's like, all right, well, just chill out. I care about you. I was like, oh, okay. Well, these two gonna hook up. This is cool.
I was expecting a love story out of that.
Yeah,
was too.
I kind of was like, okay, this is gonna happen.
There is a sequel to this movie that I also I haven't seen that either, but maybe it's explored further. I'm not sure. So we see another show where Sister Dolores, she has turned the song "My Guy" into "My God."
My God,
and
that
it
was-
works really well.
It really does. And she hasn't even really changed the words
No.
other than my God.
Yeah. He may not be a movie star, but when it comes to being happy, we go far. I sung that really bad. That was I'm sorry. I didn't write it phonetically.
For my God.
My God.
Which was funny because that was the song she sang in the beginning of the movie.
Oh, on the stage. Yeah. Perfect. So after this, the Monsignor, he comes to tell them some really big news, like incredibly big,
Kind
like
of stupidly
almost
big.
impossibly big. Guess what, guys? The Pope has heard about us. He just happens to be coming to San Francisco next week, and he's made time in his incredibly busy schedule to come watch our show. Isn't that wonderful? And they're like, oh my God. Like literally, holy moly, the Pope is coming.
Oh my God. Here comes the Pope.
So
I really wanted to see the Pope mobile, but they didn't put it in.
they didn't put the Pope in.
Dude,
I
the
mean,
Pope Mobile's ridiculous.
I wonder what it looked like in the 90s. Can you imagine?
The same?
yeah, I bet it was the same.
Really?
I bet they've had that same car since 1974 or whatever.
Dude, that thing probably has like max 500 miles on the motor. Let's be real. Let's be real.
You know I'm looking it up. Go ahead.
Okay.
I'm telling you, it's probably a Fiat motor in there.
So they're talking about the Pope, and they're like, "Oh wow, what songs are we gonna do for the Pope?" And McGonagall's like, "Hey, whoa, the Pope is coming. We have to do this traditionally.
traditional.
Like this has to be like straight up nice songs. We're not doing no claps, no stomps, no almost going crazy on the piano. Okay, we gotta do it traditional style." And all the nuns are like, "But we've been having a lot of fun and a lot of success.
It
with
has
the new
not been
stuff."
the same.
Oh, okay, it hasn't been the same.
Go ahead.
Same Pope mobile.
What do you mean?
I had to look up all the different Pope mobiles.
Oh, what was the last one? Does it say?
I'm telling you, be riding on that
It's
Benzie.
like, well, because it used to be an open air mobile, but then
Right.
they had to
They had
make
to
it
put the
like
bulletproof
the
glass on there.
bulletproof stuff.
I see. It's had its upgrades. It's
Yeah.
kind of like the Batmobile, actually. You know, many different iterations.
There was a Mercedes once.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Okay, Pope getting all fancy. Spending that myrrh. So
A Jeep. Go ahead. Keep going.
so the nuns take a vote, right? How many of y'all want to, have your loosey-goosey, fast and loose, devilish music? And how many of you want to do the traditional godly music? And they're like, they all avoid eye contact with her, which is
That
really
was very funny.
They all vote for the new music, right? And they're like, yeah, we're gonna do the new stuff. So Reverend Mother then goes to tell her that, like, you know what, I'm not gonna be any use here anymore. So I'm leaving. I put in my letter of
She
resignation.
was very salty, man.
Yeah.
She was
very,
salty.
Very, very salty about losing that
Sad.
particular vote.
I need to pause. The Mercedes-Benz have been providing vehicles to the Pope since 1930.
That's pretty good marketing move.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Okay, Andre and I have been to where the Pope lives, and there ain't no way the Pope coming to San Francisco like that.
We've been to Vatican City, but the Pope does go on, worldly tours or whatever. I don't know if he stops off at local churches, but he probably does.
Wasn't Trump there to visit the Pope when we were there?
Yes.
It was
Yes,
really
he
weird. There was
was.
like a lot of security.
Yeah, there was a lot of security and a lot of people. It was hot that day. Goodness gracious, I'm never going back to Vatican City.
Well, at least not in the summer, my goodness. Oh, in the winter.
So Reverend McGonagall is telling her that she's leaving. She also gets a call from the detective, and he's like, "Hey, guess what? We got a court date. All right, 48 hours. We're getting you out of there. You're gonna come testify. Bada bing, bada boom. You'll be free." And she's like, "Oh, but the Pope is
But
coming.
the Pope's coming.
But the Pope is on his way, dude." And that she wants to stay. And then we cut over to the cops in Reno.
Also, the
go
cop
ahead.
scares her a little bit because she like doesn't want it, and he was like, we better do this trial soon because witnesses are dying.
Right.
And I was like, oh.
Actually, it turns out we
okay.
might have a leak in the department, and we've had like dozens of our witnesses die. She's like, "Oh my God, really?"
I'm over here not listening and still doing
reading about the
Popemobile.
Popemobile?
There's
What
been
else?
32 different ones.
There it
So there you go. It hasn't been the same since.
It is like the
But
Batman.
why
Yeah.
so much? Like, they haven't. That dude is not driven 500 miles.
I'm taking.
Or the idea of the Pope is not.
It started with a horse-drawn carriage, mother.
Oh.
It went from 1 horsepower to.
1 horse open.
He started as Santa Claus, okay, and now he's Batman.
Yeah, dude.
Okay.
The Pope.
Okay, I'll stop looking.
So
I'm very interested, though.
So we cut back to the police station in Reno, and a guy comes in. He's like, "Hey, I have some information about that Vince LaRocca case. Where's the main detective?" And he's like, "Oh, the main detective's out of here. You can leave it with me." And so the assistant gives it to this other detective, and this other detective is immediately a crooked cop. He calls Vince LaRocca on the phone. He's like, "Hey, I know where the nun is at. She's at. Oh, I know where Dolores is at. She's planning to be a nun at this church in San Francisco." So now the bad guy knows where she's at, right? And so the main detective comes in and he sees him making this call. He immediately punches him in the face. He doesn't need any evidence. Pretty
Exactly.
I really loved that.
Early boys.
He comes straight in and
Comes straight
punches
in.
the out of this
He
guy.
sees this dude on the phone and he's like, he must be making a crooked cop call, and knocks him out.
I love 90s movies.
Poor homie was
Crooked
just
cop
was just
call.
Probably ordering his takeout for lunch and stuff. He just got punched. He got the compow in his face.
Oh
is
yeah,
what
he
he got.
got it good, dude. He got it hard.
Oh, that was funny.
So he's obviously worried about Dolores. He rushes down to San Francisco and makes it there in time to find her and tell her that she's in immediate danger.
They're making this Reno to San Francisco trip seem much shorter than it is.
It's only
Well,
30
on a
minutes.
plane it's probably- on a plane is probably pretty quick. They're taking planes.
Oh
each
yeah,
time.
he did take a
Yeah.
plane.
Oh, they
that's,
did?
That's true. That's true. So
Okay,
it
then
is only
maybe it
30
is
minutes.
15 minutes.
Yeah. So
They're making it seem like SFO into the heart of San Francisco
Right.
is like 15
Yeah,
minutes.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
not.
He's gonna be stuck in traffic for a little while. He's gonna get kidnapped.
It's going to be longer in traffic than it was in your plane ride.
So he grabs her. He tells her she's in danger, and he's like, "You got to come with me right now." And she's like, "We're rehearsing for the Pope." And so she like slips through the bathroom out a back door to try and kind of like get away from him, from the main detective. And while she's out there, she runs into Sister Mary Robert, and they're just hanging out talking about the Pope or whatever. And then the two goons, Willie and Nilly or whatever. their names
Willie
are,
Nelson. Willie and Nelson.
they pull up on her, put a gun in her back, and tell her, "Come with us." Get in
And
the car."
both of them, they take Mary Robert,
They take
too.
Mary Robert too. They put them in the back of a car, start driving away. And Sister Mary Robert is obviously very scared, but Dolores is pretty chill. She's like, "Just do what I say. We'll get out of this." And she is able to let Sister Mary Robert slip out of the car, tuck and roll, and go back to the church. Sister Mary Roberts goes back there, and she starts telling them, like, "Oh my God, the goons came. They took her back to Reno. She's going to the Moonlight Cafe. We have to help her." And then McGonagall rouses the nuns. She's like, "All right, y'all go here. Y'all go here. We're going to save Dolores. Let's go."
That was pretty funny. Like, all the nuns are ready to go do what?
I don't
like,
know what they're gonna do, but they're going to do it. Okay, they're ready. So
they're not praying. They are
Yeah.
pulling out their...
the holy weapons, and they're gonna lay some. What was the crusade? They're gonna lay a crusade on these dudes.
They're going to lay waste to the demons. So funny.
So they all go to Reno, right? the nuns go, they like manipulate a helicopter pilot into taking them.
That was bad.
So funny.
It was very
I was like,
funny.
oh my
Like, please, sir, can you fly us to
gosh.
Reno? He's like, yeah, no problem. It's $1,500. Like, oh, we don't have $1,500. He's like, sorry, I don't know what to tell you. And they're like, please, God, pray for this man who would betray a bunch of nuns right to their faces. And we surely hope he doesn't spend the rest of his eternity in hell for this decision that he's making right now. He's like, all right.
Yeah,
It
they
was
lit him up
so
pretty bad.
funny.
They lit him up.
It was quite funny.
So we go to Reno. Vince LaRocca has Dolores in his office. He's interrogating her just like the dude from the beginning. And he's like, all right, well, you know what? You can't betray me like this. So you know what, guys? Ice her. And they're like, well, dude, she's a nun.
They can't. 'Cause they're like, she's a nun.
Well, she's a nun, dude. We can't.
And he's like, she's not a nun.
She's not a nun. She doesn't pretend to be a nun. Stop being a coward or whatever. Do it. And they're like, all right, well, we'll devise a way through this. And they go like, take off your nun stuff. And she's like, what? Like, strip down. If you're not dressed as a nun, then we won't see you as a nun. Then we can pop you or whatever. And she's like, all right, well, whatever. And then she starts getting real nunny on them, and she's like, I
She gets down on her knees
I
and
pray for your
starts praying.
forgiveness, and hopefully you guys make it through this or whatever. And as she's on her knees praying, she like does a double whammy on their balls and and runs out of there, which is hilarious. As she's running away through the casino,
Double whammy.
the other nuns show up, and she's able to kind of blend in with them, and so they make their way through the casino, twisty, windy, windy.
It was pretty funny.
Twisty, windy, windy. The other detective, he shows up back in Reno. He's got all the cops waiting outside, but they can't go in quite yet. The nuns try to make their escape through like a back room or whatever. When Vince LaRocca and his goons show up, they got him in their sights. And I'm like, what is this dude gonna do? Just shoot all these nuns? Like, what? I don't know what his plan is here.
Who knows?
Apparently, dude. Apparently.
But she tells him that she forgives him for all of his wrongdoings and whatnot. And
She's like playing that fine line between is she speaking the truth or acting too.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, Whoopi.
she goes, or actually before she says this, Vince is like, you're not a nun. You never be a nun or whatever. You're the lowliest lady I've ever met in my life or something like
Bless
that.
him.
And McGonagall speaks out and defends her. She's like, actually, Dolores is like one of the most holiest women I've ever met. She's holier than thou for sure or whatever. And Dolores goes, yeah, you know what, man? Bless you. That's the two words I got for you, which is pretty funny.
No, I think she was gonna say something else.
She says, I got two words for you, and then Sister Mary Roberts like, hey, Dolores, chill out. She's
They
like,
kind of stepped in for her.
bless you.
It was good. It was good.
It is good. So then the main detective comes in. They shoot Vince in the arm or whatever. He goes down without a fight, and then they're able to lock him up. Mm-hmm. They go back to San Francisco. They perform their show for the Pope.
They pope it up.
They pope it up. Sister Mary Clarence has taken off her nun hat, so now her hair is out and about, and she looks really good. They sing.
Her hair is the bee's knees of the 90s. Okay, that like
Yeah.
big hair.
My
like
grandma
that.
definitely had this hairstyle.
Oh, my mom had that hair in
sure.
the 80s. I'm
I
pretty
feel like
sure.
most people
Who's
did.
again?
Whoopies?
Whoopi's at the
Whoopi's
end
hair.
of the movie when it's all big.
She took off
She
the
took off
habit.
her nun habit hat.
Dang.
Her habit hat.
I don't know. I can't think.
Do you
of it
like
right
how
now.
I'm not Catholic and I know the names of these things?
Habit hat?
Well, it's not called a habit hat, but yes.
She took off her hat. They sing "I Will Follow Him." It's a good performance. They get.
I
they
was
get-
like, oh, I know this.
They get groovy with it, you know. We see the Pope in the background; he's clapping. That was funny. And then that's basically it. They get the standing ovation.
Does McGonagall decide to stay?
McGonagall decides to stay. She realizes that she can be of some use at this convent. And let's see what else.
I like that, like, in the end credits, it's just, like, her leading the choirs, her on...
Yeah, she's on the cover of Time magazine and stuff
Time.
like
Oh
that.
my
And
gosh.
the National
I was like,
Enquirer
okay.
and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's the end of the movie.
So is the idea that she didn't stay with the church.
I don't think she stayed. No, I think she went back to do this performance to lead them through, and then she was gonna.
She was doing like choir things.
back about
after
her
that.
business. Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
philanthropic stuff.
yeah, exactly.
What was that?
Philanthropic stuff.
Philanthropics?
Philanthropic stuff.
No, philanthropics.
That's what I said.
That's what he said.
Travis.
Philanthropics.
Philanthropics. So that's Sister Act.
Oh no.
It was a nice short fun movie. Let's see here. In 1992, the budget for this film was $31 million, and it ended up with a worldwide box office of $231 million. So
Okay.
they made that money back. It was a box office success. On Rotten Tomatoes, this film has a 74% on the tomato meter.
seems low.
That's right. It's right in the middle. The audience score is actually 65%.
Wow.
The critics' consensus says, looking for a sweet musical comedy about a witness to a crime hiding out from killers in a convent?
Yeah, there you
There's
go.
none better than Sister Act.
None better.
none is
Okay,
better
okay,
spelled
okay.
N-U-N. They threw a pun in there too.
It's punny.
It's quite punny. And the movie was funny.
That was a good pun.
Yes, indeed. Should we do some ratings?
Yes, please.
Yes,
I
I
made
think I'm
200
gonna
million.
give.
Good job.
I think I'm gonna give this movie an 8. Like, it's a solid B. It's really good. It's funny. It's easy to follow. It was just like whimsical. I really enjoyed it, so I'm gonna give it an 8. Luis,
I'd agree. 8.
8 again.
Andre.
I think I'm gonna go 8.5. I really
Dang,
enjoyed
girl.
the jokes and the writing in this,
Dang,
in this
girl.
movie.
Could have said damn Daniel.
And I think Whoopi Goldberg did a really good job. She's a high level actress in my mind, and I think this might be the biggest role. I don't think I've seen her lead a movie before. You know, I've seen her in side roles, but her leading this film was really fun to watch.
Yeah, I can't think of one either.
Yeah. I'm sure she has some, but none as big as Sister Act. Emily?
I think I'm gonna give it an 8 too. Maybe an 8. I want to rewatch it. I'll be honest because the funnies were funny.
Yeah.
Like
It
they
was
were
really
good.
good.
There was a couple times when I made Louis stop just so that I could get the giggles out.
Good, so you
laugh.
could breathe.
Like I just need to giggle and then you can start again. But it was good. And I mean, I don't remember. Now I want to wait for the funny music during the action sequences. But like, I just thought the stakes were pretty high a couple
Exactly,
times.
yeah.
Like, dang, she literally just saw someone get murdered.
For real,
Like, not
like,
what I was
It
expecting.
started off as like a very serious movie, you know, and even throughout the whimsy of her pretending to be a nun and stuff like that, there's still always the looming danger of this gangster who's
Right?
you know, half an hour away that could come and murder her at any moment.
Half an hour away. Well, and when they like take her and Mary's sister Mary Robert, I was like, wow, they kidnapping people now.
Yeah,
like,
this is not
I mean,
cool.
I guess they don't care about kidnapping if they're ready to murder, but
Yeah.
True.
Even nuns.
but I don't know.
Yeah.
She's an innocent.
They're innocents. Dang it.
They was looking out for her for sure.
For sure.
I like all the nuns.
So,
like they were funny. Sister Mary Lazarus.
They were funny. So I might have to watch Sister Act 2 because Disney Plus announced that they're going to release Sister Act 3 at the end of this year.
Oh, my.
Like as a Disney Plus original, right, babe?
Yes, let's see here.
Does it have Whoopi?
Oh yeah. Whoopi is coming back.
So Whoopi is
Hang on,
66
let me
right
see
now.
here. Let me see here.
Dang girl.
Sister Act 3. Whoopi Goldberg is reprising her role in Sister Act 3. It should be coming out. It doesn't have a confirmed release date as of right now. But we assume either at the end of 2022 or sometime in 2023. But it looks like a lot of people are coming back, including Whoopi Goldberg. Let's see.
What's his name?
It looks like Tyler Perry is going to be in it.
He's not usually my favorite, but that'll probably be funny.
Oh, it says he's going to be a co-producer, so he's not going to
okay.
be acting in it. He's going to be,
Acceptable.
helping to make the movie. The director will be Tim Federle, and
Is that Najimy?
yes, and
She'll be out this year
Kathy
in
Najimy will be
Hocus
back as
Pocus
well.
2.
Sister Mary Hocus
Pratchett.
Pocus. She will be back.
Sister Mary Pocus.
See,
Yeah, and that's basically all the information that there is out about it right now. But in the near future, Sister Act will be returning. So that's kind of exciting.
also, Andre told me that nuns were trying to sue Disney for this movie.
No, the second one.
So I read.
Only one nun?
What? I read that.
Oh, maybe the nuns. I don't know.
I read that Disney had been sued a couple of times for.
I thought it was the
this-
second one.
for
But
this
Oh,
film.
the second
Probably,
movie?
probably that one too, just based on the same type of stuff. It says that in 1993, Donna Douglas and her partner Kurt Wilson filed a $200 million lawsuit against Disney,
200.
they trying out there to get their
I'm like,
all
let's
their
get some
monies.
money.
claiming the film was plagiarized from the book A Nun in the Closet, which was owned by both of them.
Yeah.
They argued that they had developed a screenplay for the book, which had been submitted to Disney, and then they had over 100 similarities between the movie and the book, but they ended up losing their case. The main guy said,
Because how dare they do that against Disney?
he said they would have had to copy our stuff verbatim for us to prevail. So yeah, they didn't get copied fully. And then also in
We should
2011,
have copywritten it.
in 2011, a nun
Yeah.
named Deloise Blakely filed a lawsuit against the Walt Disney Company, claiming that The Harlem Street Nun, an autobiography she wrote in 1987, was the basis for Sister Act. She alleged that a movie executive expressed an interest in the movie rights after she wrote a 3-page synopsis. She sued and then dropped her original lawsuit so that she could get a bigger lawsuit. Eventually, in 2012, she asked for $1 billion in damages from Disney. But $1 billion. But in February of 2013, the New York Supreme Court dismissed the lawsuit with prejudice, awarding no damages to Blakely. So Disney won twice in the Sister Act Chronicles.
Come at me.
Come
Why
at
do
us,
you need
bro.
$1 billion, though?
I mean,
That's a good question.
I'd settle for like.
So I don't
$1 million.
understand how suing works.
did you hear,
sometimes.
Luis? I would settle for 1 million.
Yeah.
Settle for 10 grand.
One of them was offered just $1 million. I think it was the first people, Douglas and Wilson. They declined a $1 million offer in an attempt to settle. And
Back
then-
in the 90s?
yeah, back in
Shoot,
the
I would have been
90s.
like, oh, thank you so much.
Yeah, sounds great.
They
Thanks.
regretting that,
Thanks.
probably.
But if the movie made $200 million and you only get $1 million for it, and you think that it's your intellectual property, I can understand not wanting to take that.
Yeah,
But
Can you?
I also can't.
Can
really,
you?
I also
I
can't really
can.
understand trying to win a legal fight against Disney.
Yeah, like I don't think they understand what they're getting into.
Yeah.
I would have gone, yeah.
Oh, you're
We
offering
set-
me $1 million? I would have been like, school.
Yeah, we set out a. I'll just never watch that movie again.
Yeah, yeah, it would definitely be a sore spot.
Oh my god.
So yeah, Disney won a couple lawsuits. They got $200 million. This ended up being a good movie, and now they get to do a third sequel to Sister Act.
Be back.
I don't know if we need a trilogy, but
Nah.
I don't know.
Probably just
I
the
haven't
one.
seen Sister Act 2 Back in the Habit, so I'm not sure.
is it really called Back in
It's
the
called
Habit?
Back in the Habit.
Hammock. In the hammock.
That would be funny too. Back in the Habit.
So maybe there was a huge cliffhanger that happened in 1993 or whatever that we need to follow up on. I'm not sure. I'm not
You're
exactly
telling
sure.
me it came out the next
Came
year?
out the next year. Mhm.
Jeez.
Yeah.
And then they waited 30.
Yeah, let's cool our jets for a couple decades here, and then we'll pick it right back up.
We ain't ready.
So that's it for Sister Act. Let us know what you thought of this film on our social medias. We're at the Walt Vault Pod on all the places. Next episode, we are going to be talking about the brand new, is it Pixar?
Pixar.
The brand new Pixar animated film, Turning Red.
That just came out on Disney Plus.
Just premiered on Disney
March
Plus. 12th?
11th.
11th. That's what
We both looked at our watch. It's funny though because so as of this recording, it came out today, and none of us have seen it, obviously, unless you watched it before you came over.
We did not.
But is anyone like uber excited for this?
I'm pretty excited. I'm excited based on the fact that it's a new Pixar movie. They're pretty good at what they do for the most part, although the last couple have been, here and there or whatnot. But also, the trailer impressed me a fair amount. I like the NSYNC soundtrack and
It's
yeah.
So the only reason I'm kind of excited for it is the soundtrack, and it looks like it's early 2000s middle school, which was when I was in middle school. So it might be popping if they got a lot of those references. But I don't know.
It's gonna be me.
Yeah, if the whole soundtrack is in sync, then that's cool.
Yeah, I won't even lie.
I don't know if they're doing that, but
Well, they should.
I mean, maybe.
Yeah, they definitely should.
I won't lie.
so-
I'm not excited, but I know that it'll be good
Yeah, I'm
because
sure it'll
it's
be. I don't,
it's who it is.
I'm not
Yeah.
looking too much into it, and I haven't watched a ton of the trailers because I'm just like, yeah, we'll see what it's about. You know, I just kind of want to go in and
Go
be
in
like,
a
okay,
little
I'll
blind.
just watch it. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, so,
But the last Pixar movie that came out was Luca, and it was really
Luca
good.
was really
I
good.
love Luca.
Oh, that was
so
a really
good.
good movie.
So good. So I have hope for this one.
Exactly.
Because not that Soul and Onward weren't good, they were just slower. Where I'm
Yeah.
not really going to go
I
back
wasn't-
to them as
Soul
much.
kind of.
Okay, excuse you. Onward is the
Dude,
business.
What?
seriously, Onward is
Soul was like my lowest
ever.
Pixar ever.
Right.
Yeah,
Like we tried to rewatch it and I was like, oh my
I
god.
feel bad because
Slow.
like it had potential. Just
Yeah.
It's really slow.
And it's really heady.
Um,
But yeah, I would say that for me, both
Onward was
Soul
okay.
and Onward
Dude, our
are a
daughters
little bit
love it.
lower on
Oh.
my Pixar list.
Which is hilarious because everyone should know this that the four of us are in a D&D campaign right now. So how can you not enjoy the D&D?
That's
I
right.
do.
It's the
That's
D&D
funny.
Pixar movie.
It was too predictable.
I need a manticore up in here.
Dude,
Maybe that's going to be my next character for our next campaign. I'm going to be a manticore,
Manticore.
which is kind of like what you are right now.
no, excuse you. I am a flying bird wizard. Okay.
What
Don't
is
you
your
dare.
thing called again? Huh? Honey Hawk?
I am Harold, the
Harold
harpy
the
honey
Harpy.
buzzard.
Honey buzzard.
I'm a wizard. All right, leave
Forgot
me
mine.
alone.
You're like a like a
don't-
gnome or something.
Don't clip my wings, dog.
Goblin?
He's
What is he?
He's a,
Who makes soup?
Yeah, he makes soup.
I
He's a
think he's a
dwarf.
dwarf.
I don't remember. We haven't played in a while, but we'll get back to it.
I'm a mermaid, basically.
Is anyone
but
surprised?
there's no. You're on land, dude.
Yeah, I have legs.
So you're not a mermaid.
She's Ariel.
No.
She looks at this stuff. She has got legs.
Whatever. Luis.
You're not a mermaid, dude. You got legs. You're not a mermaid.
You're either mer or you maid. You gotta pick one.
You're a human, okay?
You're either a mer or you're a maid. We're done. We're done.
We're basically done, you guys.
Basically,
we're
get outta
basically
here.
Done. Let us know what you thought of Sister Act. Drop it in the comments on Instagram. You can send us an email to contact@thewaltvaultpod.com.
You can follow him
You can follow us at the Walt Vault Pod.
wherever we may go. What happened to my voice?
There you go. You almost got there.
Go.
You can support us by making sure you're subscribed to the podcast wherever podcasts are found. We're on iTunes and Stitcher and Spotify and YouTube. Go there. Make sure you subscribe to the show. You'll get every episode in your feed. You can also support us by going to patreon.com/The Walt Vault. Drop $1 and you'll get some extra content.
Drop $1.
Drop $1. You'll get some extra content and you'll help us keep the lights on in this dark, dark vault. That's been it for this time, you guys. We will see you next time for some turning red goodness. The Vault